Who knows NVIDIA? Oh, I will say, we don't know NVIDIA. Okay, we are not speaking here for gaming and so on. Okay, we will speak about generative AI, what we are doing in terms of software, because this is a software discussion. It's not necessarily an hardware discussion. Okay. And to start, I put some data about generative AI. I will not read every slide, let's be clear. Huh? You will have the slide anyway. But it's not a bubble. I am hearing here and there, yeah, it's a bubble, it will explode, and so on and so on. No, it's an industrial revolution, like internet was. If tomorrow I stop internet in this building, I think everybody will complain and cannot continue to work or do some specific personal things, and so on and so on. So it's not a bubble, it's a reality. The market is big, is huge. And I think we are just at the starting point. We saw how AI and Gen AI evolve, okay? There is different type. There is a transformer came, there is generative AI came. And basically, today we are, as I said just at the beginning, we will discover many other things with generative AI and other type of AI, I will say, that will answer to complex problems. And this is the point, is how AI, Gen AI can help us to answer to complex problems inside the different industries. We are all, close to all, already using AI and Gen AI with our smartphone, I will say. So this is not from yesterday. But for the enterprise, it is extremely important. When you see what basically shocked the people, it was ChatGPT, you all know that, okay, in 2022. And the adoption of ChatGPT took 2 months to have 100 million users. 2 months compared to months for WhatsApp, for example. Okay, so it was really the turning point where I will say the enterprise realized that AI, Gen AI, it's a reality. Okay, easy to use. I can use it from my notebook. I can use it from a smartphone. It's easy to use. It's working. Wow, it's working. And basically everybody can have access to it. Now, if you look the application, there is electricity, energy consumption with all this application. Just to give you an idea, today 2% of the energy consumption is consumed by the data center. Okay, in 2030 it will be 5%, and this is why you have a new computing model that is basically with GPUs, and this is helping to get performance, much more results, by reducing the number of GPUs, for example, you need inside the data center. But GPUs is not the only part of it. The GPU is one part, the network, the software are extremely important. Now, if we look a little bit what's happened in 2022, so ChatGPT came. In 2023, you have basically the RAG, meaning the integration of the data of the enterprise. Because basically, if you take an enterprise, whatever the size of the enterprise is, the data they have from years, from months, from 20 years, this is the intelligence of the enterprise. If they lose this data, if they cannot use this data, they cannot continue to grow, they cannot continue to expand and to do their job. So it was in 2023. What we see today in 2024, it's many companies are going to production. Many companies are going to production. Could be chatbot, could be financial services, and so on and so on. But this is a reality, and I spoke to some enterprise. Some of them say, I have 500 Gen AI projects. I say, whoa, are you sure? Are you sure you have 500 Gen AI projects? So we need to be cautious as well, okay? I have some people saying, okay, I am doing this, is Gen AI. I say, not necessary. So the most important thing is to define what is the project, and my recommendation as well, okay? Because there is this tendency in the past to say, okay, I will discuss only with the business line, with the data scientist, but at one point of time, IT need to be involved. Why? Because they have the budget as well. They need to understand what they need to implement, And they are, let's say, the people who are managing the infrastructure and so on, whatever it's on-prem, in the cloud, hybrid, and so on. Just to give you an example, everybody is speaking about large language model. 52% of the, let's say, large language model are downloaded from the cloud today. Now, it was a few months ago, to be honest. It was a few months ago, so this has changed. It's so fast, there is so new things. But yeah, if you look at on-prem versus the cloud, I think there is a big, big difference. I think we are not living anymore in a world where you have on-prem, cloud, okay, in one way, on-prem in the other way. I think we are in a hybrid mode. Many companies are using cloud for certain data, okay? Many companies are using, the same companies are using also on-prem for other type of work, other type of workload, and so on, and usage. And this is coming by, if you talk about people, enterprise, about Gen AI or about AI, if you talk to a CEO, he has some expectation. How my business can change. If I use Gen AI, how my business could change. How I can expand my business, my coverage. If you talk to a CFO, you say, interesting, I need to invest. What is the ROI? If you talk to the CTO, he will say basically, interesting, how I put this in my strategy from a technical point of view. And if you talk to the board, they will say, we want to invest, we understand the needs to change our business, how this translates, in fact. What do we need to do, and so on and so on. So it's not trivial. This is why many companies as well, even if some move to production, some companies are still thinking how they should move, or they could move to production. It's not an easy pass. Okay, some countries are more advanced. I'm French, you see it, with my accent. In France, it's pretty slow because you have well-sitting company, I will say, okay, to change and so on and so on. It's not an easy pass, okay? There is a lot of things to reorganize and so on and so on. But this is how people are seeing this. So we spoke about ChatGPT, we spoke about Gen AI. When you look on the web everywhere, many people are talking about training big models. We need to train big models. We need to train big models. Yes, of course, we need to continue to train big models. But there is one market that is extremely important, is the inference, is how I use this model. Where I can use this model. Could be in a data center, fair enough. Could be in an intelligent camera. If you look a car, autonomous car, we are speaking about it from years, this is an inference engine using data or part of models. So the inference market will grow heavily in the coming years. This is really a market that you need to look at because this is the one that will drive the adoption and will drive the business growth as well. Of course, we will continue, when I say we, the industry, the ecosystem, will continue to train models because ChatGPT needs to be retrained. But ChatGPT is not retrained each day or each week. Perhaps it's 3 months, it's 6 months, okay, in order to get the latest, greatest data. So this is the market. Now, NVIDIA, this is our headquarters, I go fast, okay? NVIDIA, in many brain, it's a chip company. We are not a chip company. We are a platform company. We are spending a lot of energy, a lot of time, a lot of investment in software. We are working by verticals at NVIDIA, meaning FSI, banking, insurance, healthcare, industrial, and so on and so on and so on. And we have software stack that can fit in each of these, let's say, verticals, but we have also horizontal software stack. And the point is not to develop the application for the people, okay, for the developer. Developers are extremely important for NVIDIA. We are not here to develop the application and replace the developers. We are here to give them all the ingredients they can develop their own application and bring their, let's say, value. Because if we are developing the application, everybody will have the same application. what we want to do is say, okay, we give you all the framework, we give you all the software paths, and so on. You build your application, and we are here to help you. We are here to help you. So, of course, this is some example. For example, Drive is for automotive, Isaac is to train robots, Metropolis is for smart city. So there is a bunch of software stack, or dedicated to a vertical or horizontal that developers can take. And everything, it's on some hardware, some platform, I will say. You have DGX, you have EdgeX, EGX, and a good setup for a data center is not only GPUs, as I said. You need to have the right network. You need to have the right software. You need to have the right monitoring software, and so on and so on. So we have published reference design that people can use in order to build what we think is the reference design for a GenAI project. So it's not, I will say, NVIDIA is more and more a software company. We are developing tons of software because we need to understand what the customer, what the enterprise wants to achieve in their verticals. So, for example, at NVIDIA, if you take healthcare, you have people coming from healthcare industries. If people are asking me to speak about genomic, I can 2 minutes, 3 minutes. But as soon as the language is becoming very specific about genomic or other topics, you need to have a specialist in front of the people who speak the same language, because there is specific terminologies and so on that basically we don't know. None of us know, because it's so specific. So, generative AI is in every industry. There is some use cases. If we take healthcare, molecule simulation, if you take finance, there is one missing from my point of view here. If you take finance, there is also all security around finance, okay, and so on. Oh, interesting. And so on and so on. But every industries, okay, or industry, every industry will look or is looking to GenAI and how I can apply that, okay. So we are all fans of open source, of course. NVIDIA is working with open source software as well. But when you are developing something in R&D, what's happened when you move to production? Let's imagine I use open source software. That's good, huh? Great, everybody happy. You move to production and there is an issue. Who I call? Do I put something in the chat and say, dear community, I have this issue. If someone got the same issue, thank you to answer. I think if you are a bank, not sure it will work. If you lose a ton of money each minute ongoing, I think it will not work. So we said, okay, how we can help these developers to basically solve this issue. So we develop NVIDIA AI Enterprise. This is a cloud-native software. If I try to summarize it, okay, and we add the NIMs inside, the NVIDIA microservices, I will come back to this after. NVIDIA AI Enterprise is a service that you will buy, that the customer will buy in order to have NVIDIA support. Okay? If there, of course, this is touching all the software I put before. So, NVIDIA Enterprise, you have a license, you are using Triton, that is a framework, or you are using something else from NVIDIA, you will have the support from NVIDIA. And you can call NVIDIA and we will answer. If you are pure open source, you need to call someone. Now, if you look the data centers today, the enterprise are facing about different issues. I would not say one is better than the other. Each of these two paths have plus and minus. Okay, so you can be manage generative AI by yourself, do it yourself, deployment, but you need to have optimized data center, blah blah blah. If you do manage generative AI services, you are limited sometimes by the infrastructure because you are not controlling the infrastructure, so you do not get perhaps the best performance you could. So we look at it and we say, okay, how we can help the ecosystem? And we develop what we name NIM microservices. This is basically, in a simple way, containers, okay, where we include specific capability that people can download, and this is part of NVIDIA AI Enterprise. This is helping people to develop faster with security, with guardrail, and so on and so on. These slides are moving alone. And this is available on our website and part of NVIDIA AI Enterprise. So if I look what it is exactly, and this is available from the cloud, on-prem, hybrid, there is no barrier on that. NVIDIA NIM is helping the developer to go faster, to develop faster, meaning you don't need to be necessarily a data scientist or specialist on AI, ML, whatever, deep learning, to be able to develop your Gen AI path. You can use the different NIMs versus by do-it-yourself where it will take more time. So we want to speed up the adoption of generative AI by giving the tools like NIMs in order the developers are going to develop their application much faster, in a much easier way, I would say, to address the problem they want to solve. And this is part of the NVIDIA Enterprise license. So you can have, this slide is slow, I know it. So you can have different NIMs. For example, one NIMs for visual, one NIM with Llama, one NIMs with this, one NIM with that, and so on. So you take it, you build your application. You don't need to reinvent. Just take it, build your application, connect the NIM between them. You have Nemo Retriever as well. All this will be available or is available today, and you can see this is including models that are open source, proprietary models, NVIDIA models, because we are doing some models as well. So there is plenty of models that people can use in these NIMs, okay, by downloading the right container, in fact, and use it to develop their application. But we want to go further. What we want to do, and we announced it a few months ago, it's NVIDIA NIMs Agent Blueprint. Again, we don't want to develop the application for the developer, but we want to give them all the AI workload, or workflow, I would say, for a specific task. Digital humans for customer service. I encourage you to go to the NVIDIA website and to test it. I was impressed. I was really impressed. So there is 3 agent blueprints available today. One for digital human, for PDF data extraction, for enterprise, and for drug discovery. More to come. We will add that developers can use it, and so on and so on. So you have sample data, reference code, example of application, but again, we are not here to build the application. This is not our DNA. We are here to give all these ingredients to the developer, to the enterprise, to whoever, to be able to develop it. Now, how do we work with Canonical? This is the most interesting thing, okay? What we have done. So this is a partnership that is not from yesterday, okay? And what Canonical is doing, they integrate in their software stack Nemo, that is a tools to build your pipeline, to build your model, including inference, including guardrail, and so on, plus the NIM microservices. So this is part of the offer. And we are working very closely to integrate this and to develop this. I'm not speaking about hardware, you saw. I'm not speaking at all about GPU, what is the best GPU on the market, blah, blah, blah. This is not the point. The point is to develop the right application with the right software, and of course, everything will be optimized on GPUs. Makes sense. We work with Canonical from years, as I said, and this is on DGX. NVIDIA DGX is our own servers, but also on embedded with NVIDIA Jetson, and on Bluefield. Bluefield is a data processor unit. Everybody knows what is a data processor unit? Yes? Okay, cool. And we are very, very enthusiastic to continue this partnership and to develop even more. There is a ton of opportunity on data center. There is a ton of opportunity here on data processor units. If you look at the telco market, if you look at some other verticals, they need what we name DPU, data processor unit. They need DPU to be in their data center. So more than happy to continue this partnership. If you have any question, you can ask me question.